This Ag Business Update brought to you by American Implement. Indebted to the past, committed to the future. In a moment, Ag News.
When you've had a best friend for over 50 years, you develop a trust. And the Scott Co-op has been a trusted rural friend since 1957. A co-op keeps money in the area, doing business for and with their members. And that helps keep their hometown thriving with keeping money in the community. Scott Co-op is not just an elevator. It's the rural way of doing business. So, when you see an elevator, remember your friends at Scott Co-op.
Would you like to see something done about high gas prices and low unemployment? Western Place Energy in Campus, Kansas is doing something about it. They're a proud part of Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters, and they employ 38 people and will be adding more following the expansion. Ethanol fuel not only reduces the cost of regular gasoline, it's good for the environment and keeps money right here in the United States while supporting local rural jobs. Western Plains Energy, doing something for the future.
In agriculture news, Kansas producers planted 5.4 million acres of corn for all purposes, according to the National Ag Statistics Service. That's down 5% from a year ago, and of the total acres, 94% planted with biotech varieties. That's up 1 point from 2021. The area to be harvested for grain estimated at 5.05 million acres, down 6 points from a year ago. Soybean planted acres estimated at 5 million acres. That's up 3% from last year. Now, of these, 96% planted with genetically modified herbicide-resistant seed. That is unchanged from a year ago. Producers expected to harvest 4.95 million acres, up 3% from a year ago. Sorghum planted in Kansas for all purposes, estimated 3.1 million acres. It's down 14% from a big year last year. Area to be harvested for grain estimated at 2.9 million acres, down 15% from a year ago. Now, those oil sunflower planted area estimated to be 37,000 acres, up 48% from last year. Harvested area estimated at 35,000 acres, up 46% from a year ago. The non-oil or confection sunflower planted area estimated about 15,000 acres, up 50% from the previous year, and harvested area estimated at about 14,000 acres, up 56% from the previous year. Oats, boy, seem to be a lot of oats, but estimated acres, 110,000, down 4% from a year ago. That area to be harvested for grain, just 21,000 acres. Of course, most of that is baled up for a other feed source. And the cotton acres planted estimated at 130,000 acres, up 18% from a year ago. And the winter wheat planted for the fall of last year totaled 7.4 million acres. That was up a point from the previous year. And harvested area expected to be about 6.85 million acres, down 2% from a year ago. Well, late last month, the EPA announced it was reopening the finalized registration of atrazine. And this puts the key crop protection tool and today's carbon smart farming practices at risk. Now, this according to the Triazine Network. It is a coalition of agriculture groups that have been involved in regulatory issues related to triazine herbicides going all the way back to 1995. At issue is the aquatic ecosystem concentration equivalent level of concern, or CLOC. In a published decision that concluded the registration review of atrazine in 2020, EPA set the atrazine CLOC at 15 parts per billion. Well, environmental activists didn't like that, so they retaliated with a lawsuit in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That's based out in California. Well, this did open the door for EPA to move the tactics and then alter its decision. Well, EPA has now proposed an ultra-low CLOC of 3.4 parts per billion, and that would have devastating impact on farmers. To say growers are frustrated is an understatement. Those words from Greg Krissick, the CEO of Kansas Corn. He said the science hasn't changed since 2020 when EPA set the level of concern at 15 parts per billion. He said EPA is playing politics with the decision and should not adopt the ultra low level of concern. He said that they are urging farmers to oppose EPA's regulatory tricks and submit comments to EPA during the open 60-day comment period that will take place this summer. We'll have more in just a moment.
S&S Trailer Sales, with 2 locations in Ness City, Kansas, is where everybody goes to buy or rent trailers. They feature the all-new, all-aluminum Mauer grain trailer with all of the electric options, the easy-to-load detached trailers, and a huge stock of header trailers. At the west location, you'll find bumper poles, goosenecks, and oilfield specialty trailers, along with flat and utility beds for pickups. S&S Trailer Sales in Ness City and on the web, but remember, you do have to spell out the "and." Wolfter Construction and Irrigation has been around a long time, and a lot of folks have trusted them to design, build, and service all sizes of commercial and on-farm storage for grain and equipment. Wolfter is also known for their outstanding irrigation division, where they stock a complete selection of nozzles, regulators, drops, gear drives, electrical, and structure components. Looking for an electric motor? Wolfter has a large selection in single and 3-phase. Next time, reach out to the pros who have decades of experience at taking care of business the right way. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation.
The National Association of Wheat Growers sharing their priorities for the 2023 Farm Bill. Lawmakers continuing putting the next Farm Bill together. Wheat growers advocating for several priorities on Capitol Hill. These priorities include protecting crop insurance to ensure that growers have a strong and reliable safety net that assists wheat growers when it's needed during disasters. They also want to support financial and technical assistance provided through those voluntary conservation programs. Wheat growers also want an increase in the reference price for wheat in the Title I of that Farm Bill. That'll help to cover the cost of production a little more accurately. They also favor enhancing USDA's market access and development programs to enhance trade. Nicole Berg is the president of the National Association of Wheat Growers. She says the Farm Bill addresses many programs that are critical for wheat growers, looking forward to actively engaging in the Farm Bill reauthorization process. She said sharing the priorities is the first step in that so long reauthorization process. At New York, Representative Elise Stefanik and a few other House members have introduced legislation that would prevent adversarial countries from acquiring American companies amid the global food shortages. The Congresswoman says food security is national security. She said she's proud to stand against the foreign adversaries as they attempt to exploit some potential vulnerabilities and then would assert control over America's agriculture industry. The bill specifically prevents countries like China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea from being allowed to buy some American ag companies. They would be cited as prohibited. It also lists biotechnology and agriculture now as critical infrastructure. More in just a moment.
The cost of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 75 years. With one exception: keeping electricity affordable.
Wheatland Electric, delivering energy for life, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
KBUF Radio has ag information for you every weekday. Market updates, agriculture newsmaker interviews, as well as the latest information you need to make good choices on the farm and ranch. That includes that all-important weather. Follow along on our social media channels as well. Listen to any Western Kansas broadcast station, westernkansasnews.com. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching.